Good evening, everyone. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, I welcome Dr. Neha Prakash Navnage, and she will talk about land management for climate smart agriculture. I now request the speaker to begin. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
I welcome to all the participants present here. I am Dr. Neha Prakash Navnage, PhD scholar from the Department of Soil Science and Agricultural Chemistry, Mahatma Phule Krishi Vidyapeeth, Rahuri. Today's session is on the sustainable soil and land management for climate smart agriculture, and on the basis of that, we have to speak on the preventing and the mitigation of the land degradation. So let's start the today's session about that. In this session, we have to focus on the land degradation. What is the mean by land degradation? What are the natural causes which lead to the soil and land degradation? What are the appropriate agriculture practices from which we can reduce or minimize the soil losses and land degradation? What are the social causes? And on the basis of all that process, we have to go for the sustainable soil and land management. So let's start. As we know that in agriculture, there are many resources are influencing the agriculture. And we go through in our daily life, that is a climate. In climate, the first factor, that is rainfall, which is responsible for the proper growth of the plants and soil systems. The another is the solar radiation. Without that, plant cannot survive. The another is that different type of the biodiversity. As in India, we see that there are the different agroclimatic zones in India, which lead to the growth of the different plants in system. So the biodiversity is one of the factor that is influencing the agriculture, and the another most important factor, that is a soil and land. So the question is arise, what is the difference between soil and land? So I just clarify the difference, that the soil is mainly a three-dimensional system which consists of the length, breadth, and the as well as depth also. On that basis, we have to cultivate the crop. That is, a depth is another main factor. On the other hand, that land is a two-dimensional system that is consist of only the landscape as well as a agriculture. That agrogeological area is there. That is a land. So these are the main important factor, that is a natural resources that influencing our agriculture. However, on the other hand, when we talk about the climate, nowadays there are tremendous changes that occur in a climatic condition that will lead to the disturbance of the crop cycles and other and which lead to the degradation of the soil also. So let us discuss about the different factors. Now this is a area in India where we are blessed with the 7 types of the soil order. In India, the inceptisol, antisol, alphisol, that we divide into the black, red soil, that are the different type of the soil order that is present in our India. So now, what are the different functions of soil? As we know that we all aware about the soil. So this soil is a main important role in a climatic regulation. This is help for the nutrient cycling. This is habitat for the organism. Means there are the this is a home for the cultivate, that is a home for the microorganism to survive in a soil. This soil is mainly for the food regulation. This is a sources of the pharmaceutical and the genetic. As we know that in Ayurveda, this soil are used as a play an important function. Then this soil is a foundation for the human and infrastructure. This is a provision of the construction material. It is a cultural heritage, and this is a provision of the food fibers and the food also. And the main important role of the soil, that is a carbon sequestration. As we know that in a climate there are tremendous increase in a carbon dioxide. So the type of the soil, that is a black soil, which is mainly responsible for the capturing of the carbon from atmosphere to the soil. So in a recent research, it was found that the soil has a maximum capacity to capturing the environmental carbon dioxide into the in their system. So these are the many more functions of the soil and important role of the soil in our nature. Now, when we talked about the scenario of the climate change in India, it was observed that there is a average increase in a temperature due to the many practices due to the global modernization is there, industrialization is there, or some of the agriculture practices are there which lead to the increase in temperature. However, on another hand, there is a changes in a rainfall pattern. In last year, we found that there is a continuous seasons is there for the rainfall. In a particular season of the June to September, there is a rainfall is there. But when you talked about now, so it was observing that there is a changes in a rainfall pattern, that is mainly due to the rise in a temperature. So these two factors, the temperature as well as the rainfall, these two factors are leading to the climate change in a worldwide nation. So this is a scenario for the climate change which affecting our agriculture systems. So we have to focus on this both parameter that mainly influencing our agriculture cropping system. However, this climate change, when we talked about the climate change, there are the many impact of this climate change on our soil. This rise in the temperature as well as rainfall, which leads to the decline in a soil organic carbon. Many of you aware about what is the role of soil organic carbon. When we talked about soil organic carbon, the image of that cow dung is there, FYM is there. So this type of the organic fertilizer are main source of the organic fertilizer in a soil. So due to that climate change, irregular pattern of temperature and rainfall, there are tremendous decrease in a soil organic carbon in our soil. This lead to the reduction in our crop growth also. The another, that is a reduction in a soil biodiversity. What happened when we talked about the biodiversity? The microorganism required the favorable conditions such as aeration, water condition, as well as for their survival. Due to the lots of application of fertilizers, due to continuous tillage practices is there. So by that activities, there is a that is a disturbing the environment for the microorganism. So this lead to the reduction in a soil biodiversity. However, the continuous tillage practices which lead to the crusting, compaction, there is a formation of the hard pan, that water is get locked on the surface. There is no entering of water in depth of the surface. Many of farmers are facing that problem due to the heavy application of the machineries in their field. So this lead to the compaction, increase in a runoff, and accelerate the erosion. However, there is a loss of the nutrient, carbon, and water from the ecosystem. Continuous cultivation practices, we are not resting our soil. As a human being, we need a rest for the some time. Likewise, the soil also need a rest period. What we are doing, that we are continuously cultivating the crop one season, one after one season. So there is a due to that continuous cropping system or the monocropping system, there is a loss of nutrient, carbon, and the water from the ecosystem. So these are the main that impact of the climate change on the soil processes, which lead to the decline in a soil and environment quality, and increase the risk of the social uncertainty, that lead to the decrease in a crop growth and the productivity also. Now come to the point, that is the land degradation. There are many factors that affecting the land degradation. So let us consider the different factor. The first one is a water and the wind erosion. Due to the heavy rain or due to the heavy tides, wind tides is there. That is the main responsible for the loss of soil from the one region to another. However, the acidic soil is there due to the application of the different acidic fertilizer, or the regions is there in a south where the acidic soil were found. So this lead to the land degradation. Then another one is a alkali soil is there, formation of the saline alkali soil, saline soil is there. That amendment that leads to the degradation of the soil, from where we are unable to grow the crop in a proper manner. Then another is a waterlogged and the mining and industrial waste soil. So these are the different type of the land degradation in India. Now come to the point, what are the sources of the land degradation? By which sources the land degradation is occur? The first factor, that is a overgrazing, deforestation, and careless forest management. We are not maintaining the forest area for our survival. We are just destroying them. That leads to the degradation of the land. Another one is a urban growth and the industrialization and mining. The many of villages area converted into the urban growth, industrialization, that we are transferring the our cultivated area into the uncultivated area. That is a main important factor that leads to the that land degradation. Another natural and social sources which lead to the land degradation. Land shortage is there, land fragmentation is there, and poor economy. And the another most important factor, that is a population increases. That a main factor that is that is a main source of the land degradation. Now moving to the another, what are the agriculture activities? We are also responsible for the land degradation process, that the low and imbalanced fertilization. We are not testing our soil at what quantity of nitrogen is be required for our crop, what quantity of phosphorus. We are not testing our soil before application of that fertilizer. We are randomly by the quantity of fertilizer we are applying to the particular crop, and we applied. So that low and imbalanced fertilization which lead to the heavy doses of that fertilization in the soil, and which lead to the toxic formation. Then excessive tillage and the use of heavy machinery. As we earlier discussed, the excessive tillage and use of the heavy machinery which lead to the compaction of the soil, and the bulk density of that soil is increases, which lead to the difficulties in the crop germination, as well as water logging condition is there. There is a formation of the hard pan. So these practices is also lead to the land degradation. Crop residue burning. As we see that in the northern region of the India, many farmers are used to burn the that crop residue in the field. Either they are using that crop residue as the manure, they are burn and they prefer to the burning the crop residue. This lead to the inadequate organic matter. This lead to that decrease in the soil organic carbon in the soil, and microorganisms also get hampered due to the crop residue burning. The another factor that is a poor irrigation and the water management, the poor crop rotation. In our agriculture system, the many of farmers are using the monocropping system, that they are cultivating the single crop in their field for the many years. So this lead to the this monocropping is lead to the inadequate crop productivity. So this poor crop rotation is one of the factor that is lead to the land degradation. However, the excess use of the fertilizer, pesticides, that's lead to the soil pollution and hamper the land degradation. So these are the different agriculture activities that leading to the land degradation in India. These are the sustainable goals. There are 17 sustainable goals set by the United Nations to for the sustainable development of our human life. Among them, the 7 goals are related to the soil function, that we have to end the hunger, climate action, life on land, and poverty, good health, clean water, and renewable energy. These are the 7 sustainable goals which is related to the soil functions. Now move to the our main point, that is how we can manage that land degradation. What are the different management strategy for sustainable soil and land management? The first one is a soil erosion. Here we know that the 167 million hectare of the degraded land, which is a 90 million hectare, is a degraded to the erosion, such as a wind erosion is there, water erosion is there. So due to that erosion or loss of soil, these losses may also lead to the loss of nutrient, loss of soil organic carbon, biodiversity, and destruction in a physical property of the soil. So on that basis, there are many practices we have to adopt it to control that soil erosion. The first practice, that is a continuous contour trench. This is a method which we mainly use for the steepy slopy area. Here the trenches of the 3 to 6 meter horizontal distance depending upon the slope of the land, where the size of that trenches should be a 45 centimeter in a width and 45 centimeter in a depth. This type of the trenches, when we are applied in our field, that will arrest the runoff, that will capture the runoff water into the that trenches, and it increase the that will arrest our soil from the runoff. So this is one of the most important technology. The another technology, that is a contour pit graded bund. What is bund? So bunding is a engineering technology that we have to form a that you can see in a picture. We have the form the bunds, that is about the depth of the structure we have to form. So whenever the runoff water will come, they will accumulate it in that bund, and will there is decrease in the chances of the soil runoff. So this is another technology, that is a contour print graded bund is there. The another technology for controlling the soil erosion, that is a contour bunding and live bunding. Live bunding means that we have to cultivate the special crop that is mainly erosion resistance, means that is important for the soil erosion resistance crop is there. The one examples for live bunding, that is a lacuna, is one of the important crop that is that lead to resist the soil erosion. This is an example that in a picture you can see that there is a live bunding is there, that is important for preventing the soil erosion from our field. This is one of the case study of Karnataka region by the equipment is there. The ICRISAT pool of the climate smart agriculture. Here the climate smart villages is found uh, uh, on the basis of the climate, soil, crop and the water and new livelihood. There are the conduction of the program in a one villages equiping the farming community in a mining belt of the Karnataka in India to restore their ecosystem and get better crop yield and income even in a certain weather. So this type of the technology such as a climate smart village, we have to focus on that so that our farmer will get the maximum productivity and the income from the different sources. The another important technology, that is a conservation agriculture. As the name indicate, conservation that aim to conserve and improve and make more efficient use of the natural resources. Here we can see some pictures of the different technologies. The first one is a happy seeder. This happy seeder is the type of the equipment that used in the Punjab. This happy seeder is a no till planter. What happened in that happy seeder? We have to attach the that we have to tow the instrument behind the tractor that sow the seed in a row that is used for the sowing the seed in a row without any seed bed preparation. So here the practices such as a seed bed preparation may require the lots of tillages practices, lots of labor work is there. So this type of the equipments we are using, so we can eliminate the processes of the seed preparation and we can directly sow the seed into the soil. Then another one is a Saguna technique of the rice cultivation is there. This is also known as the SRI technique, where this is also the no-till conservation agriculture practices, where we have to cultivate the rice crop directly into the field. There is no need of the tillages and suitable burning of the and stubble burning of the rice. The another conservation practice, that is a crop cover. We have to cover the soil from the various cropping system. So there is a minimizing the loss of carbon from the soil. So come to the point, in our natural farming system, what we are doing, that we are doing the conventional villages practices. We are doing plowing, this thing cultivation is there, then planting and another cultivation. We are using the lots of villages practices which hampered our soil system. When we transfer from this conventional agriculture system to the conservation agriculture system, this lead to the reduced villages practices which improve the plant growth that improve the soil and the plant growth conditions also. The another practice is that is a crop rotation. After growing of the kharif crop, we have to move for the rabi crop, cultivation of that rabi crop. In that picture you can see that after cultivation of the kharif per millet, we have to go for the rabi chickpea. After cultivation of that kharif black gram, we have to move for the rabi sorghum. So this crop rotation for the deep soil is there. We have to we have to grow for the crop rotation to maintain or sustain our soil fertility. The another technique, that is a alternate land use system. These are the results of many a location in Maharashtra where the farmers are used the different land use systems such as a growing of the tamarind in the agro horticulture system. Use at Akola there is a cluster at apple plus green gram plus pigeon pea. That cultivation of this different cropping system also lead to the increase the productivity and maintaining the soil fertility. Then these are the main example of the agri-silviculture that help to maintain the soil fertility, and it is also that reduce the soil erosion also. Here in picture you can see that there is a cultivation of the mango, and in the middle of that there is cultivation of the cowpea is there, neem with a green gram, guava with a stylo. Stylo is one of the important grass that is mainly restore the carbon in the soil. So these are the different agri-silviculture, agri-horticulture system we have to adopted in a different land capability. Then integrated nutrient management. What happened? We are generally using the fertilizer, that is an inorganic fertilizer in our field. That urea is there, SSP is there. So by using only that fertilizer, we have to combine that with the organic fertilizer is there, such as a bio fertilizer, organic manure is there, green manuring is there. So by combination of this inorganic as well as organic fertilizer, we have to apply it in our field so that it will increase our crop growth and sustain the soil fertility. These are the case study by the Patak et al. Where use of the nitrification inhibitor is there. So that that lead to the mitigation of the nitrous oxide. Then the another technology, that is a water harvesting. We have to pond the that water harvesting is one of the technology where we can cultivate the we can store the water in our field and we can use the for the further use. So this is one of the technology from that we can sustain our soil erosion. The fertigation is one important technology. That fertigation is a technology that we have to apply the fertilizer by the source of the irrigation. When we are piping in our field for the water sources, from that sources only we have to apply the fertilizer, such as a surface drip is there, subsurface drip is there. So by both by that one process we can apply the water as well as a fertilizer to the crop also. So this is also the one technology from which we can sustain the soil and crop growth. Now moving to the important aspect of the land degradation, that is a soil salinity. Due to the there are many factors which lead to the soil salinity of the soil, such as a climate change. Soil instruction is there. In a high temperature area, there is a high evapotranspiration is there, which lead to the accumulation of the salt on the upper surface, uneven distribution of the rainfall, as well as rise in the air temperature, which lead to the accumulation of salt in the upper layer of the soil, that is a soil salinity. And there are many difficulties to grow the crop in their area also. So there are many climate smart management practices is there, such as amendment. We can use the gypsum as an amendment for the remediation of that area. Soil tolerant or the genotype we can use. There are many type of the varieties of soil tolerant soil tolerant varieties are available in we can grow for that. We can use the drainage practices. There are many different drainage, that is a mold drainage, subsurface drainage are available to collect that salt from the field and move on. The land use management, conservation agriculture is there, phytoremediation and the bioremediation also there. The phytoremediation is one of the technology from which we can collect the salt from the soil to the plant. Phyto means plant, so we can collect that salt to the plant system. Bioremediation means by the use of the microorganism we can remediate the soil. This is a state-wise loss due to the salt affected soil. We can see here the Gujarat is a leading state where the higher economic as well as the food grain loss were occurred. Thereafter Maharashtra, West Bengal. So these are the annually we can found that the 5.66 million ton of the food grain loss and rupees of 80,000 million economic loss we are facing by the by only the degradation of the by soil salinity. Here the integrated management, how we can reclaimate the salt affected soil, we can see one by one. So here the biological, in biological we can apply the organic matter, mulching is there, that we have to cover. Mulching means to cover the soil by there. The another manuring as well as we can cultivate the green crop, and we have to just bury it into the soil, that is a green manuring. Bio drainage is there, there are many a type of the plants are there that accumulate the salt in their plant system. Now, physical method, we can scrap the soil, we can land leveling, subsoiling is there, sanding is there, improve the planting technique, that is a physical technique. In a hydraulic technique, we can leaching the salt from the pit by the heavy water is there, application of the heavy water, flushing, improving drainage. And in chemical method, we use the amendment like a gypsum. These are the one amendment that we can use for the salt affected soil. Now, effect of the amendment on the seed cotton yield and the characteristics of the soil. This is a case study. You can find that the application of the gypsum with FYM, that application of the gypsum at the rate 50% GR plus FYM at the rate 5 ton per hectare. This combination of the treatment that lead to the decrease in a pH and the EC of the soil. This is the most effective case study we found here. This is a one of the practices in Maharashtra where use of the mole drainage, that we have to piping that PP pipe is installed into the land system, and this is the practices from where we can collect the salt from the field, and we can reduce the soil salinity also. These are the case study of that subsurface drainage practices is there. The another technology, that is the mole drainage technology. Here the MPKV Rahuri developed the Phule mole flow for the drainage of the excess water from the yield bed deep black soil. You can find in an image there is a particular, we have to hold the field, that we have to hold the soil with the help of the Phule mole flow. The mole drainage system with a 4 centimeter spacing and 0.60 meter depth is there. So by use of that mole drainage technology, we can transfer that salt affected water to the ground level. So this is another practices. As we know that there are many crops are present, such as suru is there, subabul is there, eucalyptus is there. So this type of the plantation, that is a bio drainage is there. This crop have the capacity to accumulate the salt into their plant system. So this type of the crop, when we are cultivated in our field, so this can improve the our soil quality, as well as reduce the salt affected area. This is a low cost technology, not required for the gravity outlet, no need of any drainage outlet, and it is an eco-friendly technique. So this type of the biodrainage, that is a cultivation of the particular crop in our salt affected soil, so we can sustain our soil. Another technology, that is a green manuring. What is green manuring? That we have to cultivate some specific crop, such as a legume crop or the non-legume crop in our field, and we have to bury it. It is a type of the technology for the decomposition is there. We have to bury that crop in our field, and this play an important role in the production of the soil organic matter in our soil. So there are two type of the green manuring technology, such as the in situ and the ex situ technology is there. In situ, what we are doing, we are cultivating the crop, such as the sun hemp is there. We are cultivating that crop in our field and buried in that field. In image, you can see that the farmer are cultivating that crop in our field and buried with the help of the tractors. So these are the in situ technology. While the another ex situ technology is there, we have to collect the leafy portion, that is a green leaf, from the another field, such as a neem is there, cropping such as neem, subabul is there. So we have to collect that leaf portion, and we have to bury it in our field, so that this is an important source for the soil organic matter. So this is an important technology, green manuring, from which we can sustain our soil. Now moving to the soil pollution. This is an important factor that degrading our soil. Many of you aware about that we are applying a lot of fertilizer in our soil. So fertilizers in our soil. So this heavy load of the fertilization which lead to the contamination of the groundwater. However, the globalization, such as the industrialization area, which transport the wastage material into the river system. So this wastage which lead to the contamination of this river also. So this type of the pollution which hamper our soil system also. The use of the wastewater in our field which lead to the heavy application of the heavy metals in our system, soil system, and these heavy metals directly come into our food chain. So this is one of the important risk is there that we are facing about the soil pollution, that is mining of the mineral, wastage in the groundwater. So this mainly lead to the soil pollution. There are the different factors which affecting the soil pollution, such as the energy intensive industries is there, vehicular pollution is there, sewage and sludge pollution, modern intensive agriculture. And these are the technologies which lead to the soil contamination with the heavy metals, and indirectly these heavy metals are contaminated in our food chain also. So this is a very risky that degrading the our soil system. On that there are different technologies also for reducing that soil pollution, such as a bioremediation, phytoremediation is there. In bioremediation, what we have to do, suppose if our soil is loaded with the heavy toxic material such as a cadmium, lead is there. So there are many research was found on the use of the that microorganism, so that from which we can eliminate the heavy metal. Then phytoremediation, a crop like a water hyacinth is there. By cultivation of this a particular crop in our field, that is also accumulate the heavy metal into the soil, into the plant system. So there are many techniques are available for the decontamination of the our soil from the heavy metals. So these are the different technologies are available. Soil by using the soil washing, by use of the FYM organic material. These are the chelating agent which bind the heavy metal from the soil. So we can use that technology to decontaminate our soil from the heavy metals. Then crop residue burning. Many farmers are burning their crop residue. This is an easy technology from which the farmer are adopted. In a northern region, we can found that due to the crop burning system, a climate change has occurred. There is a rise in the temperature in a northern region due to the burning of the crop residue. Either a burning of that crop residue, when we are recycling that into the field, this is the most important technology by which we can maintain our climate as well as a soil system. What we have to do, we have to just incorporate that crop residue into the soil, such as you can see in a picture that is a green crop residue that is incorporated into the field. Either we can collecting them and we are using for the composting also. That is a composting with the waste residue. So these are the either burning with crop residue, we can recycle it. So we can sustain our soil system. What are the future invention in a soil? Future inventions are available to sustain our soil. So one is the precision agriculture. What is precision agriculture? Here, the farming management strategy based on observing spatial mapping, variable rate of fertilizer is there, responding the temporal and spatial mapping, variability in improve the agriculture and production sustainability. Here we can use of that a technology that is a precision agriculture. We can increase our productivity of the crop cultivation. So this is the important future invention technology that farmer should be noticed on that. The another one is a drone technology. As This is a new technologies are available for mapping drone and the spraying drone. This type of the technology are used for the land mapping and the analysis, from which we can know the what is the condition of our soil and the land, abiotic and biotic stress mapping, what type of the stress is our land is facing, that we can map by the that drone technology. And application of the spraying of the chemicals means we can use by the use of that drones we can uh, fertilize and that we can spray our fertilizer in our field without a labor. We can use that drone technology. So these are the different technologies we are in future we are going through, that is a drones. Then application of the nano fertilizers. As we know that we are using the amount of the fertilizer in our field, such as the urea, in a much quantity we are applying in the field. However, this nano fertilizer is the application of the small particle. This is a nano means small particle that we have to apply in our field. As the recently launched the nano urea. So either using the urea granules, we shifted to the nano fertilizer. So this is a best management strategy we can from which we can sustain our soils. However, remote sensing, there are satellite images is there, from which we can know the about the our recent condition. What is the nutrient status of our soil? What is the nutrient condition that we can estimate from the temporal satellite imagery is there, that is also known as a hyperspectral technologies is there. Then nanotechnology application in a nutrient availability. This is the best example for the nano zinc and the nano phosphate is there. So by use of that a low amount of the fertilizer in our field, we can sustain our the soil system. Now the another, that is the climate smart villages. There is a need of the NGOs and the government that we have to go for the climate smart villages, so that it help to develop the villages as well as increase the economy of the farmer. In that aspect, we have to focus on the weather, water, carbon, nutrient and energy, and the knowledge smart, that we have to encourage the farmer for the different encourage the farmer to know the different technologies that is present in a now generation, so that uh, they will increase their economy of the farmer. Now come to the conclusion portion of this all land degradation and the management of the land degradation. Here we have the appropriate mitigation strategy for nearly 147 million hectare of the existing degraded land, out of which we have to focus how we can sustain or we can manage that land. So by combining the different technology in our field, we can sustain. We have to go for the cultivation of the agri horticulture system, agri silviculture system, innovative farmer practices. We have to focus on conserving the soil organic carbon in our soil. However, the conservation agriculture, we have to go for the minimum tillage practices. We don't need to go for the conventional tillage practices. We have to shift it from conventional to the conservation. Just reduces your tillage practices that help to sustain the soil quality also. For sure, there is a non-eatable agriculture residue must not be burned and should be used for the mulching. Either burning of that crop residue when we are shifting for the mulching, that is a main important factor that we can sustain our soil system also. Improved grazing practices, irrigation management practices, control on the urban sprawl, control and the management and the mining are the few other solutions for preventing the land degradation. Domestic and the municipal wastage. The wastewater, that many of farmers are using the wastewater in their field, that which lead to the contamination of that their land with the heavy metals, with the that many harm microorganisms is there in the sewage and the sludge. So this type of the contamination or the soil pollution, the farmers should be focused on that. They are not using that wastewater in their field, and if there is a contamination of the heavy metals in their field, just go for the use of the organic materials, or there are many amendments are available to reclamation of the heavy metal soil is there to avoid the soil pollution. A well-defined integrated land use policies to include the rural fuel food
Dr.
and
Neha,
the yes ma'am.
sorry to interrupt. We have completed 45 minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
If you can quickly wind up, I will take up few questions.
Yes ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So these are the future research should focus on enhancing the nutrient and the water use efficiency. So by using the different technologies, we can sustain our land and the soil for the future use also. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much for an informative presentation. I will take up the questions from the participants now. In the meantime, can you please stop sharing the screen so that we can see your full video?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll move on to the questions now. Please stop sharing the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, fine. This is perfect. Okay, I'll move on to the questions. What are some sustainable water management techniques in climate smart agriculture?
Water management techniques. Ma'am, we have to use the irrigation methods such as drip irrigation is there. So we can drip irrigation, subsurface drainage practices is subsurface irrigation technique is there. So by using of that techniques, we can restore our water in our field, as well as there is restoration of the water. So these are the different technologies are available for the restoration and the irrigation techniques.
Okay, I'll move on to the next question. How can farmers improve soil health and fertility through land management practices?
Soil fertility, yeah, ma'am. So there, as in PPT also in presentation, we see that there are many of technology that used for the sustainable land management practices, such as the crop rotations is there. We have to go for the crop rotation, application of the organic fertilizer or integrated nutrient management is there. We can shift to the green manuring is there. So these are the recent that technologies are available from which we can sustain our land for the for long durations.
Okay. How can agroforestry and intercropping contribute to climate smart land management?
Okay, ma'am. As a monocropping system is there, when we see about the monocropping systems, so in monocropping, what happened? The continuous cultivation of the one crop, which led to the hampered the soil system. When we shifting to the agri-silviculture or agri-horticulture system, this agri-horticulture system along with the agriculture system, which this cropping system such as a horticulture crop, when we are going suppose mango crop in our field, so these mango crop have the capacity to capture the environmental carbon into the overall body of that mango plant. So these are the technologies are however there are many research are going on the carbon sequestration is there. So this is one of the important technology in the climate smart agriculture, where we have to grow the crops along with the horticulture system. So this carbon storage, we can increase the carbon storage in our soil system, and this is a main technology that we can cultivated our use of that different land system practices.
Okay. What role do cover crop play in enhancing climate resilience in agriculture?
Okay, ma'am. In crop covers, when we are talking about the crop covering, that means it lead to the minimizing the soil losses. In overall presentation, we see that there are many of factors that affecting the soil erosion, and that direct contamination with the temperature is when the soil is direct contaminated with the temperature also, that hampered the microbial populations also. So this crop covering is a main important technology by which we can cover the soil and maintaining the life of the microorganism. There is minimizing the loss of the soil, and there is a continuous biological process that is happening in the soil processes. So this crop covering processes is a main for the controlling the soil erosion also.
Okay. What are the key principles of land management for smart agriculture, climate smart agriculture?
Yes, ma'am. As in many projects was that the government are organized on the climate smart agriculture is there. So in that climate smart agriculture, we have to mainly focus on the weather condition, about the climate, what is the climate of that condition, the livelihood of the farmer in that region. In climate smart agriculture, we have to focus on the soil, climate, weather of that condition, the what are the cropping systems is there. On that basis, we have to go for the different technologies in that region. From that, we can focus on the economy of that farmer. So there are many technologies such as a watershed condition. We have to go for the watershed planning practices in that region also. So we can go for the climate smart agriculture in that area.
Okay. How can crop rotation and diversification help mitigate climate risk in farming?
Crop rotations.
Yeah.
Can you repeat my question?
How can crop rotation and diversification help mitigate climate risks in farming?
Okay, ma'am. As we know that suppose we are cultivating the single crop in our field, so there is a chances of contamination of the pest is there, and another that it also affect the soil condition also. Suppose if we are growing the maize crop in our field in a whole year, suppose this maize crop we can grow in a kharif and rabi also. So when we are growing the maize crop in a whole year, there is a less chances that soil having the capacity to get a nutrient. And if we rotate that crop with a legume crop, so we know that the leguminous crop have the capacity to capturing the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil. So this is a best example that crop rotations, we have to go for the crop rotation to sustain our soil, as well as to giving the one of the fruitful condition for that soil as well as that plant growing also. So we have to go for the climate crop rotations, so we can resist the climate also.
Okay. Are there specific land management practices that can reduce greenhouse gas emissions in agriculture?
Which gas, ma'am?
Greenhouse gas.
Greenhouse gases. Okay, ma'am. Mainly a greenhouse gas, that is methane is there, mainly reduced from the rice field is there. So as per the research, it was found that the many of farmers are using the green manuring is there in rice field, or different technologies are available. Ma'am, I'm unable to that answer.
Okay, no problem. I'll move on to the next question. How does no-till farming contribute to climate smart agriculture, and what are its benefits and challenges?
Okay, ma'am. So no-till farming means we have to reduce the tillages practices. What happens when we reduces the tillages from 2 to 1? or the zero tillage practices or no tillage practices. So we are not disturbing our soil, means we are directly means we are not damaging our soil system, we're not damaging the microbial population growth. This microorganism which led to the decomposition of that organic matter. So there is no tillage practices which lead to the maintenance of the soil. However, when we are continuous cultivating the soil, there is a formation of the hard pan is there. Due to that formation of the hard pan, there is a waterlogging condition what happen. So this no tillage practices which lead to the giving the best condition for the soil, best condition of the soil to grow the plant. And this is a main technology that many of farmers are proceed from that processing conservation agriculture either instead of use of that conventional agriculture, that tillage practices.
Okay. What are some successful examples of climate smart land management practices implemented around the world?
What are the?
I repeat it 1 second, just give me
Yes,
a
ma'am.
minute. What are some successful examples of climate smart land management practices implemented around the world?
Around the globe. Okay, ma'am. As in our presentation, we mentioned the one villages is there, that is Karnataka. The ICRESAT is one of the organization that work in that villages. The Karnataka is there, the mining area is there. So likewise, there are many a project was going on to build up the farmers' economy and to motivate the farmers in a global level. So using of that climate smart agriculture technologies like that ICRESAT even in a Karnataka, in India also many projects are going on with climate smart villages. There are adoption of the one villages by the different organization is there to improving the that livelihood of the farmer. So these are the technologies are coming up in a recent year. By using that, we are mainly focusing on increasing the livelihood of the farmer also, and it is in under the climate smart technologies agriculture.
Okay, thank you very much. We have now completed the round of questions on behalf of agricultureinformation.com. We like to thank Dr. Neha for the talk and for answering the questions. I like to also thank all the participants in the meeting. This meeting will now be closed.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome.